Hey, you there. Just wanted to let you know you are now listening to the AK Mindset Podcast.
Greetings and salutations, people. Welcome back to the AKWatch, the summer edition. And as you can see from the screen, this time we will be talking Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. And today we have me and Ed. Rajel, he couldn't be with us today because of some technicals, not technicaling, but don't worry. All three of us will aim to be here for episode 2. But before we get into the episode, say hello to the people, Ed.
Hello. I am here in the AKWatch. Oh, I'm excited. It's going to be a fun journey. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, man. I know you guys are excited. I'm definitely excited. Let's go.
Yes, this was the resounding winner in the poll. So you people asked for it. We're delivering. And we'll be with you for 24 weeks. So yeah, it's going to be a long haul. But, you know, we're going to aim to cover all the episodes. So we hope you enjoy. But nonetheless, let's get into it. Just want to ask, so what did you think of the premiere episode? What were your thoughts on this initial episode for the second season, Ed?
I think it was really good. First of all, I could see the clear animation and how smooth it was, the bump. I asked you how it was because you watched it before me and you told me something like that. Let me see for myself. And it just looks so much fluid. I'm happy the decision they took with it, and it just looks good. And yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun ride, I think. The first episode it hit. And I don't know, the little TV animations they did as well. I think that was kind of unique and made it heartwarming, connected to it a little bit more. So I think it's going to be fun. In terms of animation, we know the story's good already, especially both of us, we've read the manga. So yeah, man, it was a good watch. I didn't want it to finish because I know week to week is going to be difficult for me, man. It's going to be difficult.
I feel it. Yeah, I thought this was a very strong premiere for the new style that they were going for. And I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was, compared to season 1, not like season 1 was bad, but I just felt like the level had been raised, which is always a positive sign, because that's what you want to see when the studio picks up a show for a long period. So I was just really impressed, and obviously this is one of my favorite story arcs in Jujutsu Kaisen. So just to see that we're getting that high quality for this arc, it's very pleasing, and I'm really happy. But just touching on the direction, because this is something that is obviously very noticeable compared to season 1. What do you like? What do you feel like? Do you like this new direction that they're taking, or did you find it a bit jarring, the switch from season 1 to 2?
Oh, I prefer it personally. I don't want the streets to say I haven't really plugged in, but I'm enjoying it. I think it's like you said, you could notice different straight away. I feel with just the way they're doing stuff, so I prefer it a lot more. I don't think it was jarring. It was noticeable, but in a positive way, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it looks quote unquote less detailed, but I think it works. The character design still look clean, and they all looked pretty good. In fact, not good, they look great. And in terms of direction, how scenes were framed, I think that was probably the most noticeable thing for me. Just the way some shots were shown, like the sweeping camera angles, especially it kind of gave it that theatrical or cinematic feeling. I think that really captures the atmosphere of it. Kind of gave the arc a different tone, kind of just the way they had framed it. And I think that kind of just shows the talent that they've brought in for the second season. I haven't looked it up, but I can definitely tell this, because this person, I don't feel like this director, maybe he was here for the season 1 and I just didn't notice, but I feel like his influence was strongly felt this episode. And it kind of reminded me of the way Chainsaw Man is directed. I don't know if you agree with me. Just the way certain shots were like framed, and just how the show was that's just the impression that the show gave me. Not like the content, just how it looked, and in terms of anime.
Yeah, you took it out of my mouth, to be fair. Because no, I love the frame movements. I love it a lot when anime does that. And it gives it the kind of cinematic vibe to it. And it reminded me a lot of Chainsaw Man. So I was going to say that as well. So you hit it first. But yeah, it's beautiful, man. What they're doing. Like I said, I don't know if it was in the first. I don't know the details of like the directors and what they did like with the same guys in season 1 and season 2. But yeah, man, what they're doing is good. Hopefully, the fan base enjoys it because I think it's a good shift. Hopefully, no one's complaining. But yeah, it's beautiful.
You know, people are gonna be complaining. They always do have complaints.
Yeah.
But going into the actual content of the episode, what surprised me was how long they focus on that just initial scene with Mei Mei and Utahime, because in the manga that was very short, but they extended it to pretty much half the episode, and I was here for it. I felt that was a welcome addition. You know, it kind of gave an opportunity to flesh out the personalities of the characters, especially for the anime only people, because I don't feel like Mei Mei has been shown that much, or Utahime. You kind of get a good grasp of the type of person. You know, Mei Mei is about the cash, you know, always charging people for every little thing. If you want her to do something, she's gonna overcharge you. And then Utahime is very energetic, boisterous, but I felt that was a welcome addition, in my opinion. I really liked that whole scene, and it kind of gave the impression of some of the missions that the teachers were going through before the present day.
Yeah, I agree. You know, sometimes you can tell when like some series, like some anime, like extend, like you know, when there's like 2 frames or like 2 panels on a
One Piece,
and they're trying to extend it. You can tell. That's the best example. You can tell, and it's normally for no reason or just like we just need to stall time. But this was done with a reason, like, you know, to give you the kind of character dynamics between Mei Mei and Utahime, and to also build on the characters of each individual characters when they're separated, how they interact with people. But I think that was amazingly done, and like I think that's like the theme of the whole episode. Kind of see the difference between these people when they are now compared to where they were in the current like timeline of the story. Except for maybe Mei Mei, because she's always been about the cream, you know. Cash rules everything around me. She knows her worth, man. She knows her worth, so I think she's pretty much the same. And I think I like how like intelligent she's always been when it comes to like the curses and everything. So yeah, it just shows them as good characters and builds up with that. It was a welcome. I enjoyed it, so it was good.
Yep, I agree. And you know, just this is technically spoilers, but you know, when I look at these Mei Mei scenes and I think about what's to come, and how certain activities may have or may have not ruined her character. You know what? Let me not even speak it anymore, because it's even a spoiler if anyone's an anime only. But you know, man, Mei Mei, it's a damn shame, man. It's a shame, bro. It's a shame, man. Nah, I don't know why Gege did that to her, brother.
At all.
It's unnecessary. But okay. So Utahime and Mei Mei, they got contracted to do a mission, and it turns out they thought they were only in there for like maybe a couple hours, but they were in there for 2 or 4 days, I believe.
It was 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days, which is just kind of just shows you first that these guys are dealing with high level curses, because that time dilation is just a madness. And, you know, that kind of curse you would think would be very difficult to defeat. But then you have Gojo and Geto who just come in and collapse the thing easily. And I think the intention with that scene is just to show the ridiculousness of how strong these 2 individuals are. So what did you think about the entrance of our 2 main focal points for this arc?
Yeah, it was good. They just introduced personalities, especially Gojo's. Like, do you want me to help you? do you want me to help you? So it's like, maybe want to help me? It's like, no, you're strong. You can see like he respects people who are stronger. Maybe just like doesn't rate the weak people, but it shows the personalities as soon as they're introduced as well. And it was mad, even Mei was calling the curse weak.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were stuck in there for 2 days, bro. If that's weak, imagine like all the other curses and obviously the Sakuna and all those demand them there. So if this was required weak, no wonder like a lot of people were disappearing when they went to that place. So what they consider weak and what they consider strong is it kind of shows you like the threat that's there, especially for the us manga readers. You know what to come. So like, if this is weak, bro, what's gonna push Gojo? What's gonna push Geto? So it was just an interesting take on like what the curse power level was, and then a boy's been introduced. You see the personality, you see how they interact with all the other characters. So it was fun, and I was just happy to see Gojo and Geto again.
Yep. And one of the welcome additions, I don't remember if she was shown during this moment. I believe she was, but just seeing Shoko, the doctor, I kind of, there's such a stark shift in the appearance compared from when here into to the present time. So I'm just like, what happened to you? Like, because you look so cheerful here.
Depression, bro.
Yeah, you know what? Probably because being in Jujutsu sorcerer is just suffering. It's not
really
good
is.
life growth. Nanami even quit in it, so that just tells you it's not the way you want to live your life, not at all. But
yeah,
I think one thing I wanted to mention is just, what do you think about the difference in morals or maybe just beliefs in Gojo compared to the present day, where here he seems quite, he's always self-centered, but here it seems like it's been turned up to, not even turned up, I guess more in your face. I don't know how to frame it, but like you can tell he's more about himself. He doesn't really care as much about the people around him if they're not strong, and he's just like, oh yeah, the weak are just there to be bullied by the strong, that kind of thing. Like, he says that stuff, but not to his friends. Now he's saying that to his friends in a way, so it kind of just shows, I guess it just highlights his I don't think it's immaturity, but just like his mindset at this current state where he's been in the school, and obviously he's been that guy for his whole life. But what do you think about Gojo in school?
I think it kind of shows the majority of where Gojo is now, which is crazy because it's Gojo. Gojo maturity shouldn't be said in the same sentence, but you could tell that he's grown up and he was just like a teenager at this point. And I think it also shows the importance of the people around him a lot, because he's this close. When I was watching, he was this close to being a villain. This close. The way he was talking is like, that kind of villain who doesn't think they're doing wrong. Just like, why should I do this? Like, he's the strongest. He shouldn't really care. It's like, it is what it is. Why should I have to bring myself so low to help the weak when I can do so much more? So I think it was that close to being like an anti, like an anti-villain kind of thing, or anti-hero kind of thing, sorry. So I think the people around him, what I got from it is the people around him were really important. Geto, the principal, his friends, I think it was really important that they were around him. He was surrounded by anyone else, other people who were like, saw the kind of same point of view, maybe to a different extent. I think I've gone a different route. I don't think he would care too much, because even Geto says like he didn't care too much about his juniors, he didn't care about his seniors, he didn't care about any bro. His selfishness was at the next level, which means like if he went the wrong way now, he wouldn't care about like our main characters and the students, and he wouldn't care. It's like, nah, I don't have time for this. I need to do bigger things. But I think the people around him like really built what Gojo is in the present time. I think we'll see the kind of journey as this anime goes along.
Yeah, and speaking about the journey, I feel like you mentioned about the conflicts and the people or around Gojo and how they influence him. You have Geto, and I feel like what makes the placement of how they've been producing the anime for Jujutsu Kaisen really strong is that this season follows, obviously the movie came out which came out last year, which showed Geto in a different place where he was an antagonist, and he had a very different mindset to what we see when he's in the Jujutsu High, and he kind of feels a lot more idealistic. He respects everybody. He doesn't really care if they're sorcerers or non-sorcerers. He understands the value that they have in the world, and that's why I guess he's been paired with Gojo. Apart from the fact that he's strong, he kind of challenges Gojo, and that you see that clash of idealism. So I think that scene in the basketball court, like, what did you think about, like, just how do you feel about the shift in Geto's view compared to the film Zero and what we see now in this episode?
Yeah. I think first of all, those boys should be playing the NBA because that's not natural what they're doing in the basketball court. But I think it's so interesting. It's so interesting. See how wild it is from this to be calling people monkeys. You know how crazy that shift is. I think it's really interesting. And just experiencing the journey from this point to where he is in the movie is going to be so good for like the anime onlys. And how like I'm sure they're going to do it well, but the ideals of like, he cares about everyone. He believes everyone is important in the like the Jujutsu world, and for that switch to be like, nah, I only care about my kind of people. So I think the ideal change is just, it's crazy to me. So it seems so drastic, but that's what the story's for, and we're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, and I think I do agree. Not really. Like, I can understand how you feel. It's a drastic shift because you have this character in the movie where he clearly does not respect people who are not sorcerers, and then you're introduced to him just a little earlier, and he's like the other side of the coin almost, where he's like, oh yeah, everyone has their place in their world, and that we need to respect the weak, and he's even willing to fight Gojo over these views, which is crazy because we know who Gojo is, but it's crazy. But I think moving on, I guess I just wanted to talk about Geto's technique, because how would you feel about having to eat those curses? Because
the way you explained it,
looking nasty, looking nasty.
Like, what? It's like it's a rat cleaning up vomit and shit and just swallowing it. It's like, okay, now I start seeing it. It's like, I see why you became who you are. Because I'm not doing it, bro. I am not doing it at all. That's not going to be me. The first time I do it, it's going to be like, yeah, this is my resignation. I quit. It's not going to be me. I'm going to be a businessman, man. Open a bakery. Because that the way it was explained, I was like, and it does it over and over again. It's like, yeah.
But I mean, being able to absorb curses and get them under control, that is obviously one of the best curse techniques. No debate, right? No debate.
Yeah.
In terms of just power system, you're able to turn these things you're fighting and use them on your side. But the way you have to do it, like, it's a nightmare.
It's like, I think because it's such a great power, it comes as a there has to be like a downside to it, which makes it Gojo funny because he's just living life. It's the best abilities. It's like, yeah, it is what it is. But this guy has to go through eating like vomit every single time just to like use abilities. But it's a great ability to use. It's a very, very strong curse technique.
And it is a very strong ability, and we see that in the movies, and like just how versatile when like with the amount of curses he has, because of, I guess, the way he's been able to expand his collection. I just wonder, the family, because obviously you inherit techniques from your family. So just being in a family and your mom like, oh yeah, okay, Geto, we absorb curses, and the way we do it is by eating them. And I don't know, as a kid, just being told that I'm gonna have to eat curses to get stronger, I don't know, man. I'm just like, maybe I'll just retire.
Literally. But it's crazy as well. Like, going back to the movie, I know we're going back to it a lot, but the amount of curses it had.
Exactly.
Which means this guy's been
He been yamming, man. Eating good. He's eating right, man. But I think this is like that whole scene was an anime only edition, or it's kind of an anime only, but it's also I feel like it also took from a scene that happens later on in this arc. It took the confrontation scene between Geto and Gojo toward which happens a bit later, and I think that was a good move on the director's part because it kind of sets the tone where you see, okay, this guy is walking away and he's what happened for them to get here. So we're seeing all these events that's going to lead to him reaching that point where he walks away from the school, and like Gojo like has to I guess separate from him. So I think that they did well to, I don't know if anime onlys caught that or understood that, but I think for the manga readers, that's something that they would appreciate, just the way they kind of restructured the arc.
Yeah. I think it was a smart move, to be fair, because it makes it's gonna be in the back of your mind, like what happened to get to this point? Especially have you seen them like laughing about, joking. You see the opening, them being like,
oh wow, we have to talk about that, bro. The opening.
Jujutsu Kaisen does this every time, doesn't it? For the openings, but yeah, and I think it just puts it at the back of like what's going to happen and puts like the anticipation. So I think it's really, really well done.
Although I do have to say it seems like they skipped one of the, or maybe it was last season, but they skipped one of the funny chapters, which I understand why they didn't adapt it. Maybe they'll adapt it later, but I really like that chapter. So I was a bit.
Which one?
It's when Yuji's old classmate meets Nobara, and then they're in the diner, and then she just calls Yuji to come, and they're just having it was just some silly stuff that happens in the diner. It was funny just before this flashback arc starts, and I just really liked that because it kind of showed the relationship between the trio, because she just messages him like, oh yeah, the diner's location, and just come, and he's like why, and then she's just like come, and he's just like okay. I just found that really funny, but you know, maybe I remember. Maybe we'll get it later. But Yaga, the teacher, he said, yeah, you two, you have to get the star plasma vessel, and you need to protect it so she can fuse with Tengen. And Tengen is the big guy responsible for the barrier techniques, so the veils that they create and some of the barriers that they use. And if he doesn't absorb this plasma vessel, he's gonna evolve, because his technique is related to, I think, long life. And the way the way it works is if at a certain point it will evolve him to a higher level being, and that's a bad thing. So what they want to do is just reset that technique. I kind of liked how they described it. They said, oh yeah, you don't want him to go into Skull Greymon, so you just reset him back to Koromon. It's just easy. That's easy. That's the simple way to put it. You just want to put him back to level 1 instead of having him increase the levels. So we're on a protect the hostage mission now.
I love the Bleachwood references. But yeah, and even Gojo's like viewpoint of like, bro, just be sentient, bro. That's not bad. That sounds cool. Why do you want to change it?
You don't understand, man.
But you know, it's like he's gonna have like less like of a brain. Basically, he's gonna have less control. He's gonna be like go with the flow kind of thing. So that's why he doesn't want it to happen, and it might become a danger to like the Jujutsu world as well. So I think it's very well. I think it explained it really well. I think I understood it better in the anime than I did in the manga. Because I'll tell you now, reading Jujutsu manga sometimes can be very confusing to read that in twice. For you understand. So I think this was perfect with the explanation. So yeah.
Yep. And then that kind of takes us to the end of the episode where they go to the hotel where she's at. They get blown up, but obviously because they're them guys, they save her, and obviously there's two groups. So the first group, which is trying to predict the purity of Tengen, they worship him, and then I think the other one, I don't know what they were trying to do. I know it's like Q and then the other group, but they're basically just trying to kill the girl. So, and then the infamous, in fact, or should I just say famous appearance of that guy, Toji Fushiguro. Now, we cannot say much, but yeah, him. He's on the screen right now. Yeah.
Timothy.
Man's got Dio's voice actor. That's how you know he's a special individual. And that's all I'll say.
There's a problem. But speaking of, people were not happy with the voice actor. Like you said, the people are always going to have problems. But apparently, they didn't think it fit what Toji character is. What's your opinion on that?
That's interesting. I don't know. I feel like I think it's a bit premature to say that now, because he literally only had like 2 or 3 lines. Let me hear a bit more. But maybe they've envisioned him sounding a bit more like Nanami, like maybe a bit more grittier. But I think it's Dio's voice actor. Like he's gonna sound clean in my opinion. So, but I think it's an interesting take. You don't really hear a lot of critiques on Japanese voice actors from the English crowd. So
that's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. So I think the complaint was that they just hear Dio. JoJo fans like that, just hear Dio. And some people, like you said, wanted that Nanami like kind of vibe to it as well. A bit like, because when I heard it, I was like, oh, they're using Dio's voice actor. That's pretty cool. But I just moved on. But I was like, I don't think I can deal with it, because every time I'm going to hear Dio. But I don't know. I think Toji can turn into his own thing, because he's a good character as well. But we shall see. I don't think he mattered too much. But I think, like I said, he said 2-3 lines, literally. He just said, like literally 2 lines. So we see. I think we can judge a bit more, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. Well, we shall see. Yeah.
I think it's a valid concern. I mean, obviously, when you play a character like Dio, that's always gonna be an overpowering memory, I guess, if you want to put it that way, because of how the character Dio is. But I just want to see how he puts his take on Toji.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably the case with most Japanese voice actors, because whenever I hear Naruto's voice actor, it's a lady, so voice actress, whatever. Like, I always recognize it. Like, when I was watching, this is mad off topic, but I was watching Inazuma 11, and I clocked the Endo. I was like, bro, this is Naruto's voice actor, because she literally just sounds like Naruto, but I didn't associate that until I just was like, oh wait, if I'm listening more clearly, this is Naruto. So, it's I think with these voice actors, especially the popular ones, I think it might just be maybe they're complaining because they went with the popular option, and maybe there might have been someone who could have done a different take on Toji, and because they're not as popular, they didn't get selected. But we'll just have to wait and see, in my opinion.
Yeah. It reminds me of Nanami's voice actor. So, because the very first time I experienced him was there's an anime called Gangster. Where my I think the character's called Nicholas. I think. I was like, oh, I know this character. But I think when he came into Fire Force as Joker, and
yes.
Well, I understand that. But to be fair, another one I noticed straight away. Like, I think I would notice straight away is, I think, if, for example, there's a dub version of Jujutsu Kaisen, they use Manga as voice actor, and it's the same kind of cadence. I think straight away, that's my bro. Because the wake up to reality speech is hard to get the voice out of your head. So I understand where they're coming from, but I think it's going to be, give it a chance.
Yeah, I hear it. And I guess before we bring this thing to a close, before I say anything, I just wanted to ask, is there anything you wanted to touch on?
I think it's just interesting, the dynamic of Geto and Gojo saving, just playing protect basically. It's going to be interesting how they do it. especially because it's so strong. You're still like, what is going to push them to the level that they need to get worried about protecting this, what they need to protect. So I think that journey is going to be interesting, the different dynamics and ideologies of the two groups going after Star Plasma Vessel as well. And Toji, what is he going to do? We shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, I like that. I just want to say, like, I thought their opening and ending were fantastic, and
amazing.
Normally I don't listen to endings, so I was really impressed, and I thought visually fantastic. I don't know. I obviously I don't listen to a lot of endings, but definitely one of my favorite of this year, and really captured the tone and made me feel a bit emotional, because I was just like, you see them looking so happy, and then you understand where it's gonna end. So you're just like, it's just like you wish you kind of could have this happy ending, but you never get happy endings when you're a Jujutsu sorcerer. So I mean, it is what it is.
At all. But yeah, it was literally, I was like, oh God, why did this innocent children go through this stuff, man? That wasn't my favorite. I can't lie. When it comes to like endings, I think my favorite from this year is definitely Villain Sagas, but this was up there. Because I know Vijay was here, he would tell you about the endings for Villain Saga. It never misses. But yeah, it was really good. It was emotional. Even like the openings, like you seen them. It reminded you of like Megumi and Nobara, and like you just reminded me of that trio and how they were just it was just good, and I was like, oh, this is cute. Like Gojo's making jokes, it's laughing, and it was just yeah. Then you just see how the old change and the present day is like, what did this guys go through, man? What did this guys go through? And they're going to tell us. They're going to tell us this season.
Yes, sir. So I guess that's how we'll bring it to a close. As always, thank you for listening, guys. Episode 1 down, and many more to come.
Sure.
Thank you, Ed, for joining me on this one.
Of course.
We got the socials on the screen, so give those a follow. Instagram, Twitter, also on TikTok, Google Podcast, Spotify. You know the spiel by now if you've been here before. But yeah, I guess we'll catch you in the next one. Also, shout out to Rajel. We have to rep for our guys.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Enjoy your days, and peace.
Peace.